All right, it's story time. Happy Halloween, everyone. Let me introduce my friends earlier. So this is Stingy Jack, and this is Sweet Jill, and they're going to tell stories with me today. So you may have heard the story of the jack-o'-lantern. You may have heard that it was the devil and a deal, but no, I'm going to tell you different. It was fairy mischief. And we're going to tell you about the fairy mischief of old Stingy Jack and the jack-o'-lantern. Now, every year on Halloween night, you see pumpkins and turnips lit up in front of houses up and down the streets, just like this one here. Let's go ahead and light it up for our story. Yes. Now, they're carved in fun shapes of ghouls and goblins and scary smiles. But where does this spooky gorded creature come from, you ask? Well, none other than my friend here, Stingy Jack. Who is Stingy Jack, you ask? Well, a no-good louse that I had the misfortune to come across one moonlit night. You see, my name is Lucy, and I am one of the good folk. Note the wings. The wee ones who may grant you good fortune or bad luck, a trick or treat, if you will. And on All Hallows Eve, us wee folk can move through the veil and interact with mere mortals on their journey. Now, Stingy Jack here, as he was known to the townsfolk, has a reputation, and not a good one. He lied, he cheated, he stole from everyone he could. He had very few friends and many, many enemies. And on one All Hallows Eve, on his way to the Harvest Festival, Jack came across an otherworldly woman on the road. She had a large cart full of treats, which had toppled over. "Good sir," I said, "will you help me turn over my cart? It is so heavy, and many hands make light work." Now, us wee folk have been known from time to time to grant treats and kind wishes to those who show good character. But this gentleman was of no good character. "What concern is that of mine?" he said. "Well, concern for your fellow man," I said, or woman. "All other townsfolk are already at the Harvest Festival, and there is no one else to help. Could you please assist me, and I will be on my way?" "Well, what's in it for me?" he said. "Why should I strain my back for your cart?" The nerve. After going back and forth for some time, I relented. Clearly, this man was looking for a trick and not a treat. "I'll give you a coin for your harvest cider," I said. "Oh, make it several," he said. And then he reluctantly assisted me with my cart, and we continued down the road to the Harvest Festival. Well, any fool knows that kindness is its own reward. But this man was an exceptional fool indeed. And I learned from the townsfolk that Stingy Jack, as he was known, was universally disliked for lying in his thieving ways. Surely he was ripe for a trick. As promised, I gave the barkeep my coin for his cider. I brought him 3, as is the wee folk custom, and Jack became more and more and more inebriated as the night went on. Of course, that barkeep warned me. "Stay away from Stingy Jack," he said. "He'll steal your coins as soon as you're not looking." And sure enough, 3 free ciders for one good deed was not enough. When I refused to buy him another, he reached into my pockets and tried to steal my coins for what he was owed. As quickly as he tried to steal the coins, they dissolved in his hands. His selfishness knew no limits. Over and over, he was thwarted as he tried to reach into my pockets for those coins, and he became desperate. "Please," he said, "just one more drink. I'll give you anything, anything, anything." "Will you sell your soul?" I said. "My soul? Well, sure. What's a soul anyway? Anything. Just give me another drink," he said. So a special drink was made that only the wee folk know of, that Jack happily consumed. Of course, any fool knows not to take food or drink from the Fae, but Stingy Jack, as I said, was no ordinary fool. Once he had fallen into my trap, I revealed myself for only his eyes to see. You see, I will take your wretched soul and drag you to the other world, where no good, lying, cheating rogues such as yourself are tricked into our realm for all of eternity. Suddenly the earth opened up, and Jack learned that his soul was very real indeed. No, no, wait, Jack begged, and he pleaded, and he looked around for some loophole to avoid his fate. It was then that he pulled out a horseshoe necklace and wrapped it around my neck. Iron, I said. Rookie mistake. I should have checked before I revealed myself. Everyone knows that iron traps our kind and prevents my mischief. Let me go, said Jack, and I will remove the horseshoe. A debt must be paid, I said, but I will make you a deal. 10 years you may have, and not a day more. 10 years, and I will turn to repay that debt. In that time, if you grow and you learn from your stingy ways, a new bargain may be struck. So I let him go on his way. Now 10 years to the day passed on All Hallows Eve, and Stingy Jack quickly forgot his promise. He continued in his miserly, thieving, and unkind ways. And on All Hallows Eve, 10 years later, I met him again on the road. It's time, I said to Jack. I have come to collect and take what's mine. Jack grabbed for his neck and searched for his lucky horseshoe. Not falling for that again, I said as I pointed to his horseshoe that was swaying up in the top of a nearby apple tree. Frantically, Jack started to climb up the tree, desperate to reach the horseshoe and avoid his fate again. But this time, I was ready. My elemental friends caused a strong breeze to move across the land, swaying to and fro. Jack reached the very top and grabbed onto the horseshoe, and just as the branches broke in the breeze, down he went, tumbling to the ground to his death. Jack had tricked me again. I was unable to claim his soul for the Fae, so he went on to the afterlife. But the afterlife didn't want Stingy Jack. All his thievery and lies left him in limbo. Couldn't go up, couldn't go down. So he is cursed to walk the earth forever for his crimes. And so I took pity on poor Stingy Jack, and I gave him a fairy light to guide him on his way. Jack found a gourd and carved a tooth smile on its skin to carry that light for all eternity. And that is how Stingy Jack became the Jack of the Lantern on All Halloween night. So make sure to say hello to Jack this Halloween Eve. And remember, share your treats so you don't get tricked. Yay. And that is the story of Stingy Jack. Now, as I said, Sweet Jill over here loves trick-or-treating. So she likes to hear the story. 'Twas the night of Halloween, all about our trick-or-treater friends and the goblins and ghouls of the night. You ready? Okay. 'Twas the night of Halloween, and all through the tomb, all the creatures were stirring, for nighttime was soon. The ghoul bags were hung by their costumes with care, in hopes that Halloween soon would be here. The ghouls were all rising out of their graves, where visions of candy corn in the haunted corn maze. Mama Ghoul in her witch's hat and Pa in his mummy wrap had just gotten up from a long graveyard nap. When out of the street, there arose such a clatter, they sprang from their tomb to see what was the matter. Out in the streets they flew like a flash, flying by quickly to behold the great bash. The moon up above gave a haunting light glow that shone on the streets and the revelers below. And what to their ghoulish delights at this mash but a gaggle of monsters with candy to stash. With witches and mummies and monsters galore, they knew in a moment what fun was in store. More rapid than zombies, the children they came. They screamed and they laughed and they played their trick games. Now Glinda, now Dracula, monster of Frankenstein, goblins and ghouls and creatures of all kind. To the streets, to the porches, to the knock on the door. Collect all the candy, tricks and treats are in store. The wind starts to howl as the moon starts to rise, and the hunt has begun to fill up the skies. As the moon rises high and the bags start to fill, the children continue this trick-or-treat drill. So up to each doorstep, the children they run with bags full of candy and a night full of fun. And then on the wind I hear in the sky, the cackling of witches, and see broomsticks fly. As I turn my head to see all around, the legions of zombies with their moaning sound. They were dressed all in tatters from head to their feet, and their hunger was growing for their human treat. A gaggle of monsters with their candy stacks ran down to the street to escape the attack, their eyes open wide, their mouth in a gasp, their feet moving quickly, their voice in a rasp. The ghouls were all haunting up and down the road, and the witches were cursing the naughty into toads. And Frankenstein's monster roamed through the streets, and mighty superheroes showed off their feats. The night now belonged to the ghouls of the night. The creatures lined streets all over our sight. They cackled and smirked and went in the night's gray on a night to cause mischief in a merry old way. With a wink of their eyes and a twist of their heads, they showed me that I had nothing to dread. They howled and they hollered, and to each door they knocked and filled their baggies, their buckets, and their socks. Then grabbing their broomsticks and jumping astride, the witches they rose above to the skies. And all the ghouls and goblins began their descent, for their candy bags full, to the graveyard they went. But I heard them exclaim, as they took up their flights, "Happy Halloween to all, and to all a good night."